Welcome back to the Golden State with Mates post-game live after the Warriors get a 104-93 victory over the Houston Rockets in Game 3 at Chase Center Saturday night. Huge win. I won't lie, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Got a bit of a headache at the moment, but the fact the Warriors were able to pull off that victory certainly makes me feel a little bit better. A heap of comments here already, guys, I'll get into shortly, but wow, like big win when you're playing without Jimmy Butler. Didn't have a whole lot of expectation necessarily or optimism that we'd win this game without Jimmy. But I think what's become pretty clear over the first three games here is that Houston's offense is just not good and the Warriors' defense is obviously elite. And so if that's the case, the Warriors don't have to necessarily be elite themselves offensively. And when you've got Steph Curry, he can be an offense within himself. And my goodness, just another classic Steph performance. Never get sick of watching these kind of displays from him. 36 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 12 of 23 shooting. And the Warriors found an unlikely hero late in the fourth quarter with Gary Payton II. But all of it was created from Steph. GP2 had 9 points in a row for the Warriors within a less than 2 minute span in the final 6 minutes. It was basically, I think, Dylan Brooks made a wing three with 5:27, I think, to go in the fourth, put the Rockets up 1, and then GP2 has 9 points in less than 2 minutes to allow the Warriors to take a little bit of control after a second half that was really hard fought and back and forth. Huge win for Golden State. GP2 had 11 points in the fourth quarter, put the finishing touches on with a dunk there in the final minute. But again, all created from Steph. It was basically him drawing 2 defenders, GP2 on the roll. And credit to GP2, like he really attacked the rim on a couple of occasions there where, he could look for a kick out pass or look for another dump off. But instead, like he was getting the ball on the roll from Steph and really, making a point of I'm going to the rim here and I'm scoring. So full credit to him for that. And then he also hit that big three where Steph looked like he was in a bit of trouble, but kind of turned his body in midair, found GP2 wide open in the corner, and he knocked down the big three as part of that 9-point spurt that he had. So huge fourth quarter minutes and points from GP2. But again, Steph creating absolutely everything. And this was a performance from him for the ages. Again, he played 41 minutes. The Warriors needed absolutely everything from him. We saw that, I think, the graphic in the first half that said that the Warriors, I think in the first half, the Warriors didn't score when Steph Curry was on the bench. His 4-minute period on the bench in the first half, Golden State failed to score. So they were plus 18 in his 41 minutes, which means they were minus 7 in his minutes off the floor. I actually think they did a reasonable job in the second half of just retaining that their lead, or not the lead, but not letting the game get away from them. I think he had that couple of minute stretch on the bench in the fourth quarter where his minutes were like really weird in this game in terms of he kept coming out and then have a couple of minutes stint on the bench and then coming back in. It was really the rotations were really different from a Warrior perspective, given there was no Butler. Steve Kerr went to a completely revamped starting lineup with Kuminga, Draymond, Post in the front court, which meant Moody was out. So that was an interesting one I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, Steph's minutes were kind of all over the place, even though he played 41. And I think in the second half, the Warriors, I think in that fourth quarter, he left the game with the Warriors up 1. He had a couple of minutes stint on the bench and they were still up 1 when he came back. So yeah, just a huge win, and maybe a slightly surprising one based on Jimmy being out. But again, like this Rockets offense, it's not good. And full credit to the Warriors defensively, really active in this game. Draymond down the stretch on Şengün. They said it on the broadcast, like Draymond might be in his head a little bit. Like he was missing some of these kind of mid-range floaty type shots that he has that he normally makes. He was missing them all really in the fourth quarter. He finished with just 15 points, 7 of 18 shooting. Jalen Green, what did I say? I was happy that he got his big game out of the Wayne game 2 in a game we were probably going to lose anyway. He had 38 points, comes crashing back to earth in this game. I think he had 9 points on 4 of 11 shooting. So not good games for Şengün and Jalen Green, and that's what's going to happen in the playoffs with young players, I think. I'm going to get into some of your comments here, guys. There's plenty to talk about. Logan says Jimmy out 2 games in a row is crazy. Well, I suppose if you count the 3 quarters he was out for game 2. That deep glute contusion, fingers crossed, he can come back for game 4. That sounds like the plan. We'll wait and see. Obviously, the Warriors are going to need him going forward, no doubt about that. And fingers crossed he can be that extra kind of 48 hours can be enough for him to return in game 4 on Monday. Logan says, Buddy missing wide open threes and getting picked by Steven Adams. This guy sucks. Buddy can't shoot or dribble. Weird Buddy Hield game. Weird, like just a classic encapsulation of Buddy Hield as a basketball player. Like it is the most infuriating thing when he tries to dribble. Like, and it wasn't even just the Steven Adams one, like, is going to grab the attention of fans because you got pickpocketed by a near 7-foot center at half court while you're trying to dribble. Like, that was horrific. But then there was one where he tried to isolate on Jalen Green. He just kicked the ball out of bounds as well. It's like, man, like, he can actually, I think, be an effective player if he just, like, catch and shoot, and that's all he does. Like, as soon as this guy puts the ball on the floor, it's an absolute disaster. And so just super, super frustrating. But at the same time, he hit 5 threes. He had 17 points, which was the second leading scorer for the Warriors behind Steph. So it wasn't as if Buddy was like disastrous in this game. And he closed, like he played quite a few minutes down the stretch. He played 29 minutes in this game. So, man, like just it encapsulated him as a player. Like this was the full Buddy Hield experience. Like, sure, he made a lot of mistakes that you wanted to tear your hair out. And you're thinking, what the hell are you doing, man? But then he also, as I said, he hit 5 threes, and that was big in the Warriors being able to win this game. And particularly in that second quarter run late where the Warriors were down 12, they went on a 9-0 run to finish that quarter and give themselves some momentum entering halftime. And I think Buddy had 5 of those 9 points to end that second quarter. Logan says, if only Post could shoot tonight. Man, weird game for Quinton Post, and I'm sure there's going to be other guys talking about it, but in the comments here. But Quinton Post, he had 2 points on 1 of 7 shooting, and yet he actually played well. Like, I don't think I'd ever say that. Like, because you think of him, like, if he's not shooting the ball well, then what impact's he actually having? Well, he found a bloody good time to actually learn how to rebound and be really physical. Now, there was a couple of times where he got, boxed out by Steven Adams. He gave up kind of a putback layup in the fourth quarter there. But otherwise, he had a career high, not just a playoff career high, a career high, 12 rebounds in this game, had 4 assists. I don't know, like, it was strange because, again, 2 points on 1 of 7 shooting. You're like, ugh, yuck. But then I actually think he was good, and he played 27 minutes. And I thought his defense, he was guarding, obviously, Amen Thompson for the majority of the game, and he was just giving Amen Thompson kind of whatever he wanted and saying to him, okay, you've got the ball. I'm going to hang around the paint. You want to make anything kind of from the free throw line out, like, go for your life. But that's going to be uncontested. You can have any mid-range shot you want. And to be fair, what did Amen Thompson do? He did 5 of 16 shooting from the floor. Right. So that was a great tactic. And then he also, when Amen Thompson actually drove at him and tried to get to the basket, Quinton Post's contests were really good, I thought. And again, he made him really inefficient. So probably not a good Quinton Post game offensively, shooting the ball, but perhaps the best defense and rebounding I've seen from him in any game this season, any game. And the fact that's happened on a game 3 in the playoffs in a starting role without Jimmy Butler, that was huge for the Warriors. That was huge. So, again, real weird to say. Quinton Post was good in this game despite shooting 1 of 7 from the floor. Logan says GP2 clutch, pods, GP2. I think these were all comments as the game was closing down there in the fourth. And Thandex says we came clutch in the fourth. GP2 cooked 35-7-9 from Steph. Yeah, got to 36 at the end of there. Logan says GP2 player of the game. It's really funny how GP2 might be the best pick and roll partner that Steph has, and he's 6'2". It's kind of wild. Just below says 4-2 Warriors. Well, I mean, I'd like to close it out in 5, but let's get to game 4 first and try and take a decisive. Game 4 becomes huge because you take a 3-1 lead. Obviously, the Warriors have lost from 3-1 up in the past. We know that, but history would suggest you go up 3-1 in a series, you're a pretty good chance of winning. And obviously, if it goes back to 2-2, then the Rockets take back home court advantage. So game 4 becomes really critical again. JSW says Post may have been bad offensively, but he had good rebounding and defense. Absolutely. Probably, again, the best defense and rebounding I think I've ever seen from him in a game. Logan says if Jimmy didn't miss the game majority of game 2, this could be way scarier. Logan says game 2, big what if now if Jimmy didn't go out. Yeah, like I suppose you could say, well, if Jimmy doesn't get injured, the Warriors might be up 3-0 now. But these are ifs and buts that I don't necessarily like to live by too much. Warriors are still in a good position now, up 2-1. There should be, Jimmy hopefully coming back for game 4. There's no excuses here to not advance to the second round. And hopefully the Lakers-Timberwolves series can extend out to 6 or 7 and they can beat each other up a little bit. And I don't know. I don't want to project too far forward, but, I'm asking you guys, like, if the Warriors were to advance to the second round, who would you rather face right now out of Minnesota and the Lakers? The way the Timberwolves are playing, you might take the Lakers. But yeah, that could still be, I think, a long series, as this one could be, to be fair. GSW says to everyone that complains about Buddy Hield minutes, this is why he gets them random nights like this. Yeah, 29 minutes in this game, hit 5 threes, provided some offensive production when the Warriors really needed it. I think it's the most frustrating thing is, like, you could actually just be really effective if you just didn't dribble the ball. Just do not dribble the ball. Just be a catch and shoot guy. Maybe occasionally on a closeout, you can put the ball on the floor. But even then, like, please stop isolating. Please stop, like, getting the ball and then, like, just stop dribbling, man. Just stop dribbling. It's an absolute disaster. The shooting numbers when he shoots off the dribble compared to catch and shoot, it's a stark contrast. So I just don't know why he does it. I don't know why he does it. It looks good 1 every 10 times. Let's, like, just simplify the game. Like, when you're, like, how many of his threes in this game? Did he have 1 of his 5 threes were off the dribble? I don't think so. Like, they were all catch and shoot, were they not? So I don't know, man. Just simplify the game and you can be a really effective player. It's just the frustrating moments where he thinks he's more than he is, or he thinks he has to do more than what he needs to do. Z says another amazing performance by the Curry stopper, limiting him to 36 points. Yeah, like, not a great game for Amen Thompson. Again, more so on the offensive end. The Warriors kind of living with him 5 of 16 shooting from the floor, and you combine that with Şengün 7 of 18, Green 4 of 11. Van Vliet started off hot. What did he have, like 9 points in the first 3 or 4 minutes? He finished with 17 points on 5 of 14 shooting. The Rockets shot 39.5% from the floor as a team. They did shoot 39.3% from 3-point range, but the Warriors were just kind of giving them those mid-range free throw line, little mid-range jump shots or floaters kind of thing. They were giving that to Thompson. They were giving that to Şengün, and those guys just didn't capitalize. Like, they kept missing those opportunities, and it worked out as a really good strategy for the Warriors in terms of the way that, Draymond and Quinton Post in particular were guarding. Logan says Steph's still getting held off ball and still drops 30 plus. Steph would average 40 if they called every correct foul. Thai basketball fan says no matter what happens going forward, we got to see Steph in the playoffs again. This is a spiritual experience. Agree with that. And I think that's why at the end of the day, we look back at the Jimmy Butler trade and we say that's a success, regardless of whether or not the Warriors go and win this series or how far they actually go in these playoffs. The fact that you can say we got to see Steph Curry in big time basketball again in these kind of moments, I think that in itself makes the Jimmy Butler trade a success, to actually reach this point and be able to witness Steph Curry with these type of performances on the biggest stage. I think that makes it a success off the bat. Thai basketball fan also says, where has the finger roll been hiding? We need this in the regular season too, man. That one that he had, what was it, third quarter or early? I think it was third quarter, wasn't it? Where, yeah, he made it over. I think it was Şengün maybe, or Adams. Man, he put that up high. He put that up high, and that was a great finish. Logan says Buddy Hield missing open threes and getting picked by Steven Adams pissed me off. Buddy was 5 of 11 from 3-point range. Like, I don't know, it's weird because in this game, it feels like he missed a couple of open ones that he should have made, and then he made a couple of tougher contested ones that I'm surprised went in. So, I don't know, 5 of 11, 45.5%. I mean, you take that. And the Warriors needed it without Jimmy. Like, they needed another source of offense, and they found it through Buddy Hield, albeit he made plenty of mistakes that were very frustrating as well. And unfortunately, GP2 was obviously also able to capitalize on all the attention that was being thrown at Steph. Steezy says, have we finally put the Kuminga thing to rest now? Lots of talent falling short of potential. I don't know. It was a strange game. Like, he had moments early in the third quarter where I was like, okay, Like, this is nice. Had a couple of big buckets early in the third quarter. I thought his defense on Jalen Green was really excellent for the minutes he was out there. But again, when it comes down to it, the final quarter, Jonathan Kuminga did not see a single second on the floor in the fourth period. So clearly, Steve trusted him to a degree of, okay, we're going to give you the starting role. Obviously, without Jimmy, we need some inside scoring. We need some athleticism, that kind of thing. But then when it came down to it in the clutch situation, when the game was on the line throughout the fourth quarter, we did not see one single second of Jonathan Kuminga. So, yeah, not like I wouldn't say he was horrific in his 17 minutes. I wouldn't say he was good either. He was a -5. I don't know. Is it enough? Like, does he just go straight back out of the rotation when, assuming Jimmy's back for game 4? Possibly. It would be hard to see him playing over GP2, Moses, or Buddy based on this game. Like, I think those three guys Moses was only 1 of 5, but I think they prefer his shooting out there. I suppose that's probably based on this game, that's probably the decision is between Moses and JK, which is kind of not ideal for 2 fourth-year lottery picks, is it? Just Below says, not worried about Lakers or Wolves, honestly hoping we don't see the Clippers. Clippers, man, can we talk about that Aaron Gordon game winner? Oh, my goodness. I was watching that live, and I just could not believe what I was seeing. That was wild. One of the wildest game winners you'll ever see. I think it was the right call. I think he got it off just in the nick of time. Oh, it was crazy. And the Nuggets get the win after nearly blowing a 22-point lead. So it's 2-2 in their series. I don't know. The Nuggets could still win that. Obviously, the Warriors, I take a lot for the Warriors to face the Clippers because the Warriors would have to get through to the West Finals and the Clippers would have to win this series against the Nuggets and then beat the Thunder. So I'm not sure the Warriors are going to be facing the Clippers in these playoffs. Then next says Buddy wasn't bad, but he also wasn't good. I don't know. It was actually, to be honest, like, yes, he did some frustrating things. It was probably one of his better games, though. This is kind of like what he does to me. Then says Post was good. Those rebounds were important. Yeah, like after game 1, the rebounding hasn't necessarily been like a huge factor necessarily. The Rockets did have 5 more offensive rebounds, 15 to Golden State's 10, but it didn't feel as if it was a real game deciding element, right? Like the Rockets game 1, they only got back into the game because they were just absolutely monstering the Warriors on the boards. Feels like since then that hasn't necessarily been the case. And I just think QP was just a lot more physical in this game. Like, and I don't know, hopefully like he looks back at this game, watches the tape and says, okay, well, this is who I can be. I can be a double-digit rebounder, right? I'm 7 foot tall. I can use my physicality inside. There was one where he might have got away with a push off on Adams, but he got an offensive rebound over Adams. And how many O boards did he actually have of his 12 rebounds? 3. So three offensive, 9 defensive. Yeah, good time for the rookie center to figure out that, hey, I can actually rebound. Just Below says Post was missing too many easy finishes around the rim. That's the next element to his game with defenses starting to close out on him a little bit more. Like not only making shots around the rim, but I think once he misses 1 or 2, he lacks a bit of confidence. And you'll see every time from then on, and it happened a couple of times in the second half where he actually pump fakes, takes a guy off the dribble, gets past his man, and then looks like he has a lane to the rim, but he'll just kick it out to the perimeter. And I think that's the next element of his game. Again, as defenses start to close out a little bit more, can he take advantage of that and actually get himself all the way to the rim where, let's be honest, right now, he doesn't look overly comfortable, right? So that's going to be a big aspect for him to work on in the offseason. Dublin March says, Buddy was 5 for 11 from 3 with 3 steals. Good by me. Yeah, again, a decent-ish Buddy Hield game, I think, as frustrating as some things were. FTW Clan says, it's crazy how the entire other team is singularly focused on stopping one man and he still drops 36. Only Steph Curry. Just Below says, only teams we should be worried about are the Clippers, Nuggets, and Thunder. Thankfully, Nuggets and Clippers are playing. I don't know. Minnesota are pretty good. And the Lakers, I think, with LeBron and Luka are always going to be dangerous as well. I mean, it's still... We said it going into the playoffs, and I don't think there's anything to necessarily change the view on this through the first 3 or 4 games of each series. Like the West is just super close, and I think any of these teams can can beat the other on any given night. I think the Warriors got a pretty good outcome with getting the Rockets in the first round, and I think kind of thought that after they secured their playoff spot with that play-in tournament win over the Grizzlies, and I feel like I still think that now that we're 3 games in, the Warriors are up 2-1. I think the bookies probably got it right with having the Warriors as favorites. Now, could the Rockets still go on and win this series? Potentially, yeah, depending on your Butler status and whatnot. But the Warriors, I think, got a pretty good draw in terms of drawing Houston and letting kind of the Nuggets and the Clippers fight it out, and letting the Lakers and Timberwolves fight it out. Albeit this series against the Rockets has been, a rock fight as well, and very physical. Even some stuff going on at the end there with Draymond and Jalen Green, which is interesting. Dublin March says only team we should be worried about is the Houston Rockets. Absolutely. Let's try and finish this series off first. Still 2 wins needed. Just Blow says this series was really determined, this game. Hopefully you can look back at it and say that. I'm still not counting my chickens before they hatch. Still got to win another 2 games. You lose on Monday and all of a sudden it's 2-2, and you got to win 2 of the last 3 games, and 2 of those are going to be on Houston's home floor. So we'll wait and see. Just Blow says the Warriors are hungry and focused. They won't blow the 2-1 at home. Logan says GP2 scoring those 9 straight points was the game. GP2 and Buddy came to play, provided so much needed offense. Tile Basketball Fan says, yep, we got the Buddy game at the time it was most needed. Tile Basketball Fan says agreed in the second half. They just made sure Houston didn't score either. Steph sat. Double Marsh says, mate, did you catch an elbow with your left eye? Right there. No, I didn't catch an elbow. In fact, I don't even know what I did. It's red, isn't it? I think it's a bit of like carpet burn or something. I don't know. I wasn't in a fight. Let's put it that way. I did go out last night and have a few beers, but I didn't get in a fight. Just Blow says, yeah, Jimmy and Jalen Green got into it end of game. Tire Basketball Fan says, like Moody being more aggressive when he just stares at Şengün and shoots. He's playing into their hands. Yeah, had a nice couple of finishes in the first half, didn't he, around the rim. Just the shooting. The shooting still, to me, is a bit of a problem. I keep looking at myself and this little mark I've got my left eye. Don't know what's going on there. Tire Basketball Fan says, every time Buddy holds the ball for too long or trying to dribble on the break, I'm full on giving him a pep talk to give it to someone responsible. I just don't know how he keeps doing it. I just surely, like, we know Jimmy said it publicly. Like, Jimmy said it publicly that Buddy needs to stop dribbling. Steve is telling Buddy to stop dribbling. What is he doing? Like, why does he keep doing this? I don't know. Then next says it's 3 consecutive games we scored 18 in the first quarter. The offense and the performances in general in the first quarter haven't been great. And I think that's something the Warriors need to try and figure that out, because they might get away with that against Houston. But, you score 18 first quarter points moving forward in some of these, if you make the second round series, and you might find yourself down 12 or 14 by the end of the first quarter. And, in fairness, they did by second quarter. I think they fell behind by 13 halfway through the second quarter or whatever else. So they need to work out a way to start games better, I think. Matuis BT is how I want to pronounce that. Steph is amazing. This game was really important. Agree with that. Missed the MRA space. Moody finally made a reset his position 3-pointer for the first time. Yeah, he was 1 of 5, and that one was a pretty important one early in the fourth quarter with that sidestep 3, which is probably the toughest of the threes he took, and he made it. Pods was also 1 of 6 from 3 in this game. So it's not as if the Warriors shot 31.1% from deep. So it's not like they were absolutely firing on all cylinders offensively, which hopefully, the fact you shoot 31.1% from deep, you're without Jimmy Butler, and yet you win the game by 11. That's pretty good signs, and raises some optimism for what the Warriors can do moving forward in this series. FDW Clan says, everyone hating on Kuminga, but what do you honestly expect from him in the position he's in? I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was terrible. I thought his defense was pretty good in this game. Offensively, not great, albeit he had a couple of important buckets early in the third quarter. I don't know if it's enough for him to be a rotation member once Jimmy comes back. Probably not, but we'll wait and see. Dendex says that foul on Steph in the first quarter when Dylan Brooks tackled him was crazy. These refs are trash. I didn't actually really pick that up live. Like, I saw Steph fall to the ground, and I was like, okay. And then I saw the replay of it. I was like, what are we doing? Like, he literally just bumped into him. Like, come on. And Dylan Brooks, I mean, he had 4 fouls in the first half. Like early in the second or halfway through the second quarter, he had 4 fouls. Kind of wild. Logan says, I saw someone say trade Kuminga for Cam Johnson and D'Anthony Melton. Now, that is a trade I like a lot. Well, Melton's going to be a free agent in the offseason, so you don't need to trade for him. But the Kuminga for Cam Johnson one is an obvious one. Whether the Nets would go for that, I think you'd have to give up a pick or two to make that work. Maddie says, Kuminga's value is in the gutter. We aren't getting anyone good for him. Well, okay, that's kind of a double-edged thing, though, because it might be a good thing if Kuminga's value is in the gutter, then is anyone actually going to come for him with a $20+ million contract? Because I don't think at this point the Warriors are going to be willing to pay Kuminga more than probably $20 million a season. However, maybe every other team thinks the same, and if that's the case, then maybe the Warriors can get away with paying him like $15 million a year. Like, Kuminga's going to hate that. He's going to hate that. But what other option might he have? He's going to be a restricted free agent. The Warriors are still going to have some say in this, obviously. And so could he get, 15? Could the Warriors get him for $15 million a year? If they could get him for that, I don't think I'm against it. I think I'd be okay with him getting $15 million a year. So with his value being in the gutter, yeah, you could say, well, we're not going to get anything for him via trade, but maybe it also means we just get him at a much lower price and can retain him. Don't know. Logan says Gordon trying to fight. That was wild at the end of the first half, the Clippers-Nuggets game. Good refereeing, and Reggie Miller on the broadcast was giving kudos to the refs. That was really, really good refereeing. Just 6 guys got technicals, offset them all, no free throws. Keep playing. That's what the playoffs are about. Just Blow says, love seeing GP2 run over Brooks over for all the Rockets antics this series. That might have been a bit of payback for 2022 when Brooks was part of the Grizzlies and fractured GP2's elbow or whatever that was. That was nasty. Take it from me as someone who's broke his elbow twice. Robert says, don't dribble, buddy. Haha. Yeah. It's not even a laughing matter. It pisses everyone off, let's be honest. FTW Clan says, would you all rather have Buddy make a few mistakes, hit 5 threes, or have 2 points and 1 of 7 have 0 impact? Yeah. Fair point. Like, I think at some point you've just got to take the good with the bad and say, you know what, Buddy Hield, if he plays 29 minutes, he's bound to make a few mistakes where you're just like, WTF, like, what is going on? But if he's playing 29 minutes, it's probably also a good indication that he's actually shooting the ball all right and giving you some points. And so you just got to take the good with the bad sometimes. And if you can actually get some good from him, particularly in a game where you're lacking offense without Jimmy, yeah, away you go. Logan says, what happened, Peter, to the eye? Yeah, I legit don't know. I'm not sure. I've woken up like this, I think. Logan says that corner 3 GP2 made, yeah, big bucket. Logan says, would you sign Melton again even after the injury? I would absolutely get that guy on a minimum contract. Dead set. Get him on a minimum contract. It would be, okay, and I've spoken about this before, like it's what you get him on a minimum contract and it's like, well, we're not relying upon you because we know the injury concerns. We know the fact you're coming off an ACL, but there's not much risk there when you're on a minimum deal. Like, I'd be doing that every day of the week. So hopefully, I don't know what the relationship is like still between him and the franchise, but if the Warriors can do that in the offseason, it would be huge. Then Necker says in the first half, we couldn't survive with Steph on the bench. Couldn't score. Didn't score a single point with Steph on the bench in the first half. Jackson says, what happened to Gee's playing time? Just out of the rotation now, which is going to frustrate some fans. I do think there's probably a limit on how many young guys Steve Kerr can probably play. Like, he's playing post Kuminga, Moody, Pods. Like, that's 4 young guys, all, year 1 to year 4. Can you bring a 5th guy in Gee? Probably not. You're probably going to, with Jimmy back, you're probably going to take Kuminga out of the mix, and we're going to go back to basically a 9-man rotation, which is what it was in this game anyway. And I also think, like, you probably you'd want him out there if you're struggling on the boards a little bit, if you want those kind of hustle plays. And this didn't really feel like a game where the Warriors needed that. It was like they were actually doing a good job defensively. They were doing a pretty good job on the glass. It was more about finding offense, which is exactly why Buddy Hield played 29 minutes. Then Nick says, hearing that Warriors chant at the end was good. I don't know. It's hard to tell from obviously just watching on TV, but it felt as if the environment at Chase Center. It sounded as if the environment at Chase Center was pretty good, and it should be. It was the first home game of the playoffs. Like, there's no excuses for it not to be, man. Like, watching that Knicks Pistons game at Little Caesars Arena on when was it? A couple of days ago, whatever it was, that game 3. Man, that was loud. That was so loud. I was like, why can't every home fan base do this? And I suppose if you're a team like Detroit and you haven't had too much success in recent years, you're absolutely chomping at the bit, ready to go for any playoff action. But that set the standard to me, the Detroit home crowd in Game 3. Logan says, I totally forgot Gee didn't play. WTF? The Warriors won by 11. I'm not, when the Warriors, this is a win or loss industry, and when the Warriors win, I don't think there's too many complaints. And when they lose, then Steve Kerr is going to cop some criticism. Like, we haven't spoken about this. We're going to talk about the fact that he went to a 4-guard lineup down the stretch. Like, he basically almost closed the game with Steph, Buddy, GP2, Pods, and Draymond. And I was like, man, you got 4-guard lineup out here. And we know fans hate the 4-guard lineups. They hate 3-guard lineups, let alone 4. And so I was like, geez, if this doesn't work, Steve's going to cop some real criticism for this. But it actually kind of worked. The Warriors won, and now we haven't talked about it whatsoever. It hasn't been a thing. And, I'm 31 minutes into this, and I'm only just mentioning it now. Mr. MRA Space, can anyone explain to me why Buddy Hield always gets the ball from the ref and touches it when the other team shoots free throws? Is it to hex it? I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? It's a weird one. F2P says Post is him. 2 points, but played well. 12 rebounds. I don't know. I'm hoping this is kind of a coming of age moment for him, where he actually realizes, hey, like, I can actually use my size on the defensive end to be a strong rebounder. And again, I thought his defense, he played Amen Thompson really, really well. He just said, all right, I don't respect you as a threat, basically beyond the restricted circle, essentially. I'm going to let you have any mid-range jump shot you want. And if you drive at me, then I'm going to play straight up. I'm not going to foul. I'm going to make you make a tough layup over me. And I'm 7 foot tall, and I'm going to use my size. And I thought he did a really, really good job. So again, as I said earlier, probably the best defense and rebounding performance I've seen from Quinton Post in a Warrior jersey. And the fact that it comes in Game 3 in his first playoff start without Jimmy Butler, huge. Absolutely. Jackson says we should give thanks to the Bulls coaching for pointing out the over-the-top physicality happening in our series. Logan says, what was the rebound battle? I didn't notice anything big. They had 5 more offensive rebounds, 15-10. They had 36 defensive rebounds by the look of it. Warriors had 35. So, yeah, like, it was fine. Like, it wasn't a huge factor in the game. Rockets out-rebounded us a little bit, but that's fine. Like, it wasn't a huge factor. Greg says it's because he doesn't always touch the ball in every possession, so he wants to keep his ball feel fresh. That's in regard to Buddy Hield. Streetcar says Post played like traditional big, and it was great for us. Lol. Yeah, unfortunately, he can't finish inside like an interior big, but defensively and rebounding wise, excellent. Arminius says obviously acquiring more offensively gifted players is mandatory this offseason. Yeah, I would agree with that. Or at least I think more shooting is probably the biggest thing on this roster. Is there's still too many guys that are iffy 3-point shooters. Like Kuminga isn't a shooter. Draymond isn't a shooter. Pods, 1 of 6 in this game, has been better obviously over the second half of the season, but I don't think anyone's calling Pods an elite shooter by this point of his career. GP2, we know he hit 2 of 3 in this game, but he's going to be left wide open. Moses could get to the point where he's an elite shooter, but I don't think he's got to that quite yet. 1 of 5 in this game. Looney doesn't shoot it. Buddy Hield up and down like a yo-yo. So and that's why like everyone would look at Cam Johnson as like, okay, this is a perfect guy to play off Steph and Jimmy, right? Absolute perfect guy. Absolutely elite 3-point shooter at 6'7", 6'8". So that's probably the big one. And that's why like Melton would be a big, I don't think Melton's necessarily an elite shooter, but he's a high percentage, close to 40% guy, and he'd be another guy. We saw in his brief time, 2 games as a starter next to Steph, he was great next to him. and a great complementary piece to have on or off the ball and defensively. So he'd be great to pick up again in the offseason. F2P says, and Post is a rookie. Looney was hot dog water, though. What does that mean? Hot dog water. I don't know. I'm assuming that's not a great thing. Looney had 2 points, 5 rebounds in 14 minutes, was a -1. Man, I don't know. Great win. Great win. I'll probably finish it up there. Steph, never get sick of seeing these type of performances. It's just massive. Draymond defensively down the stretch, I thought was huge. 2 steals, 3 blocks, but the fact he kept Şengün to 7 of 18 shooting. Quinton Post, defense and rebounding was excellent, even though the shooting wasn't there. And then GP2, the unlikely hero, 9 points in a less than 2 minute span late in the fourth quarter there to let the Warriors take control after a real back and forth second half. I'll finish it up there, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel already, that'd be greatly appreciated. You can follow me at POC252. That's POK252 on X/Twitter. I'll go and do some writing now for bluemanhoop.com that you can check out more tomorrow morning PT time for those of you in the Bay Area. Thanks again to those of you that are watching on the replay or listening via the podcast feed as well. Of course, we've now only got 1 day off before Game 4 on Monday. Let's hope Jimmy Butler is back in action and the Warriors can take a 3-1 lead. Thanks again, guys.